Hey Aquarius, welcome to Sweet Tea Astrology and Tarot. My name is Erica. Welcome to the channel. I'm so glad that you found me. This is your February 2017 astrology video where I also plan on pulling some tarot cards for you and some oracle cards, two to be specific, one from two separate cards. So, before we get to that, why don't you sit a spell, Aquarius, so we can talk about your stars. On February 3rd or 4th, depending on where you live on the planet, we'll have Venus, the planet of love, beauty, harmony, money, and resources as well, moving into Venus, catching up with Mars and Uranus. This is in your second house. Venus moving into the second house is a really nice placement for you. More often than not, Aquarius. The second house is ruled by Taurus, and Taurus just happens to have Venus as a ruling planet. So Venus really likes to be in the second house. The second house is the house of your money, your possessions, your earning ability, and your self-esteem. It's the house of mine. It's the house of your values and your possessions. It's the house of anything that you could point to, classify, identify, or introduce as mine, and that includes your significant other or your spouse or your children, fur baby. Anything is mine would qualify under that second house umbrella in my book. So Venus moving into that second house, love, harmony, beauty, money, and resources moving into that second house of values, possessions, earning ability, and self-esteem. So if you're not getting a monetary boost, then it could just be that you're really feeling yourself, Aquarius, and that's not a bad thing either. So enjoy it either way. Now, on the 7th or 8th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mercury moving into your sign. Mercury is a planet of thought, movement, and communication, and it's moving into Aquarius, meeting up with the sun. So, this is your first house. The first house is the house of what I like to think of as the physical embodiment of who you are and how the world sees you. This is your physical body. This is your appearance. This is your personality. This is how you act. This is how people see you, especially those who don't know you very well. Mercury moving in here could be that you are getting information or gaining information about possible workout regimens or something to that effect. You may be researching things that you're wanting to do to beautify the body, if you will. Thinking about possibly researching new haircuts or new hairstyles as well. I see all of those types of things occurring for you starting at around the 7th or 8th of the month, going through to the end of the month. Now, on the 10th or 11th of the month, depending on where you live on the planet, we will be experiencing a lunar eclipse at 22 degrees of Leo. Lunar eclipses are associated, one, with feminine energy, so it could involve a female, but two, it also deals with closures, the tying up of loose ends. This could be the ending or the resolution of a situation, or just bringing about a change that could feel kind of shocking if you aren't living life from an elevated perspective, if you will. If you're living on a day-to-day basis where it feels like you're not paying attention to those inner daily cycles where they reverberate out into the larger cycles of your life, then these eclipses could feel a little bit more extreme to you. But if you're paying attention to what's going on, then you might be able to kind of see or feel what's coming. This lunar eclipse is coming in your 7th house. The 7th house is ruled by Libra. It's the house of your partnerships and your relationships and how you identify who you are as a human being through those interactions with other individuals and other human beings. It also deals with counseling and open enemies. Now, the lunar eclipse at 22 degrees of Leo, I pulled up the Sabian symbol that's associated with it. Sabian symbols were created by a psychic clairvoyant named Elsie Wheeler, and they're used to symbolize 0 to 30 degrees of each zodiac sign of the astrological wheel. And this Sabian symbol for the lunar eclipse reads, "In a circus, the bareback rider displays her dangerous skill." What I really liked about this was the fact that it was a really visual representation in my mind when I was meditating on it. I thought of the poise and the grace and the skill and the athletic ability that it takes to be someone who can ride bareback and do dangerous tricks in the middle of a 3-ring circus for people to watch. That has to take a lot of gumption. I thought about how it also takes a lot of precision and patience and perseverance to become one with this animal who has their own mind and their own body, and to stay on top of this animal and be able to guide it while moving with it has to really be quite phenomenal. And I feel as though there is some synchronicity in these Sabian symbols linked to the larger story of the Saturn square Neptune of 2016 and 2016. Where Saturn was in Sagittarius, the sign of the Centaur, half man, half horse. And Neptune has been in Pisces, where we will be experiencing a solar eclipse at the end of the month. Now, on the 18th or 19th, we will be experiencing the Sun moving into Pisces, meeting up with Neptune in the second house. So the Sun moving into the second house is highlighting or shining light on these second house matters. There's a lot of second house energy going on for you, Aquarius, throughout the rest of the month. And the second house, once again, that house of Taurus, self-esteem, earning ability, money, possessions, the things that you want near to you. You want to know where your money is down to the last cent. You want to know where your spouse or your partner is. You want to know where your children are. You want to know where your favorite shirt is. All of those things. So yeah, the fact that Neptune is in there as well. Just be careful of illusion. Be careful of possible deception. Don't be overly imaginative. Don't try to see this through rose-colored glasses. See it for what it is. That would just help you in the long run. Because on the 25th and 26th, at the end of the month, we've got that solar eclipse at 8 degrees of Pisces, heavily influenced by Neptune. Heavily influenced by Neptune. The planet of nebulousness, change, illusion, or nebulousness, illusion, imagination, and change is coming with the solar eclipse, bringing in new growth, new opportunity in that second house. Maybe an opportunity for you to start working out because you've been doing that research back at the beginning of the month. Possibly start working out to where it boosts your self-esteem. If that's not the case, you've been doing the communication, possibly having interviews and you get hired and now you get your first check and it's the beginning of a new monetary cycle for you because of the solar eclipse. Just many different ideas and ways that this could play out. You could be taking a relationship to the next level because of the value being brought, and with there's new energy coming in, it could be something to that effect, especially with the lunar eclipse in that seventh house. It could be the evolution or the change of a partnership or a relationship. Could be another way that it plays out for some of you Aquarians. Now, the solar eclipse Sabian symbol reads, a jockey spurs his horse intent on outdistancing his rivals. Once again, the same picture that came up in my mind for the bareback rider, pretty much the same idea or the same descriptors came up. The athleticism, the tenacity, the skill, the grace, the poise, the talent that it takes to be a jockey, to ride a horse and win a race. I mean, because you have to stay on this horse while it's going at breakneck speed, and you're trying to win a race while still being one with this animal. Once again, I feel like reverberating back to that 2016 Saturn square Neptune situation. And Saturn's been in that 11th house. The 11th house is the house of your friends. It deals with your groups, your future wishes, goals, and dreams, that bucket list. It's the teams, the memberships, the associations that you have. It could also be dealing with internet friends or internet groups as well. So there's that. Saturn squaring Neptune in that second house. You could be having an issue of power struggle between that 11th house and that second house all of 2016. But there's new growth in this second house. So it's like Saturn was tilling the ground for whatever's coming now. On the same day, the 25th or 26th, depending on where you live on the planet, we've got Mercury, the planet that represents thought, movement, and communication, moving into that second house. So there's a lot of focus on your possessions, your money, your earning ability, your self-esteem, the things that you hold near and dear to you, and you want to have an account of where they're at and what's going on with it. That's what's going on for you, Aquarius. A lot of potential for new growth in that second house. I would definitely be getting my resume out and dusted off. I would be looking at the help wanted ads, because it looks like there is a real opportunity for some powerful growth for you in that second house. But now what I'm going to do is transition over to the cards for you. This is the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. I will be pulling one card from this deck for you, and I will also be pulling a card from the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild, and the artwork is by Autumn Sky Morrison. Now, Aquarius, let me grab my cards. I'm going to take this time while shuffling to remind you that this is a general reading. So if this does not resonate for you, it's totally fine. You've got a little bit of each of the zodiac in you, thanks to your natal chart. And if you don't know what a natal chart is, it's basically a representation of the sky from your perspective, your worldview. It's a snapshot of the sky when you take your first breath. And that's the way that one of my favorite astrologers, Nadia Shaw, puts it. So you want an accurate birth time, an accurate birthplace, and an accurate birth date for an accurate birth chart. If you don't have an accurate birth time, you can still run a chart that will show your sun and your moon. And if you know a little bit about the zodiac signs, if you ask your friends what they first thought of you when they first met you, you can usually figure out what the rising sign is, as long as you know the traits of, the zodiac. But anyways, if you don't know where your moon and rising sign are, you can send me a screenshot of that natal chart to sweettastro@gmail.com, and I'll do my best to get back to you as soon as possible with those placements, because I feel like that's something everybody should know about themselves. Not only to watch those placement videos on my channel, but also other readers if you so choose. I feel like those are just things people, like I said, need to know about themselves. I use astrology and these other tools not only as a means of predictive astrology and predictive divination, but also as a means for psychoanalysis as well. There were many things that occurred in my younger life that I had to keep quiet for reasons I'm still not honestly sure of. And it helped me understand a lot of things and shifted my perspective. So it can be quite healing if you approach it from the right perspective as well. And that's coming from somebody who is a Scorpio riser, a Taurus moon, and an Aries sun. So I encourage you to check out your chart. I'm going to go ahead and cut. All right. The bottom card representing the underlying theme or the overarching energy, and the top three for clarity. Also going to pull a, like I said, Sacred Rebels Oracle card for you. And this deck, once again, is by Elena Fairchild. One of the first decks that I ever ordered for myself online, and I had an instant connection to it through the screen, but my rising planet, the planet closest to my ascendant line in my natal chart, is Uranus. So I can be very impacted and affected by the internet, but I can also be very effective on the internet. One of the reasons why I made this little channel, once I figured out what those things meant. And now from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck. Okay. All right. That one popped, so we're going to use that one. Now what I'm going to do, Aquarius, is I'm going to hit the pause button very quickly, flip these cards over, do the tarot math, and I'll be right back with your story. Hang tight, y'all. Hey, Aquarius. I've got your cards, so let's get started. The underlying theme or overarching energy of this spread is the Eight of Wands. The 8 represents a Scorpio-ruled house of life, death, and rebirth. Transformation, metamorphosis, and regeneration. Instincts, that can be primal, basic, or human. It also deals with sexuality and other people's money. I see the Wands cards as, well, the Wands cards are fire energy. That's Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. But I see this as very rapid communication, very fast communication. I also see the wands as sometimes phallic symbols, so it could possibly be sext messaging back and forth. I also see that as a symbol as this as well. But this is really quick, back and forth, flirty, the kind of not going to let you get the last word in edgewise, or I'm going to get the last word flirty kind of energy. I don't really see this being necessarily argumentative. For some of you, it may be. It really just depends on who you're dealing with and what's going on. If this lunar eclipse is heralding or bringing forth the ending of a relationship, it could be because of some of this sort of fast-paced, flirtatious messaging gets found out. Because that lunar eclipse is occurring in the 7th house, it's going to be a new perspective in that 7th house of relationships and partnerships and how you identify who you are as an individual in those interactions with those people. It's also open enemies and counseling. But I really, for this card to be showing up in the overlying or the underlying theme or overarching energy, it's like there's going to be a lot of messages going on. And another funny synchronicity as well is Mercury is moving into your sign on the 7th or 8th of the month and moving into the 1st house of your personality, your appearance, and really it's that house of the physical embodiment of who you are and how the world sees you. That's not saying every Aquarian's going to go out there and have some sex messages or whatever, but I see that as very fast-paced messaging. So if it's not of the phallic nature, like I said, it could be dealing with, like I said during the astrology portion, you getting your resume out and putting your resume out and filling out applications and stuff, and getting a lot of messages and emails back and forth, setting up possible interviews as well. Now, the first card in the top 3 for clarity is a Major Arcana card. It is the 11th card of the Major Arcana. It is the Justice card. The 11 speaks to the 11th house on the astrological wheel, which is ruled by you, Aquarius. It's the house of the internet. It's the house of our friends, our groups, the memberships, associations, and teams that we belong to. It's also our future bucket list, dreams, goals, energy as well. You have Saturn transiting your 11th house. Saturn is the planet that is known for its limitation, structure, and containment. Saturn is the taskmaster, and Saturn will tear down anything that is not built to code. And that can be your friends. Now, the Justice card as a Major Arcana card represents the sign of Libra. Libra is hosting Jupiter in its sign right now. Jupiter is in your 9th house. The 9th house is the house of Sagittarius, and that's the house of your long-distance trips. It's the house of your higher education, your adventures in questing. It really is your worldview expanded through study or travel. It's a study of foreign languages. It's the study of religion, philosophy, astrology, legal system matters, political system matters. It governs foreign people, foreign places, and foreign things. This Justice card, you could be dealing with a Libra. It could be speaking to that Jupiter being in the 9th house. It could be speaking to the 11th house as well for the astrological placement up here for this numerology association that I use. So it could be speaking to Saturn in the 11th house. It could be Jupiter in the 9th house. It could just be dealing with a Libra in general. It really depends on what's going on in your world. I feel like if you're dealing with a Libra in general, it's also someone who has some serious fire energy with them. So, there's that. Libra represents balance. This Justice card is representative as a possible reward for one's efforts. I see this not only as a possible reward for someone's efforts, but I see this as like you reap what you sow. So if you've been doing good, then you will get good. But if you've been doing not so good, then you'll probably get not so good. So if it's good, then, you know, this could be a legal system matter coming out in your favor. The justice system at play. If it's not so good, then it could be the legal system matter or the legal system coming down on you and exacting justice in the way that has been deemed fit in a court of law, which may or may not be fair, and that's an entirely different video. But issues of the justice system as well may just be prominent in your world for some of you. That could be the case. You do have Pluto transiting the 12th house, and that is the house of institutions as well. And the justice system as well is an institution. The second card that was pulled for you is the Seven of Cups. The Seven speaks to that Libra ruled house of partnerships and relationships and how you identify with others. It also deals with counseling and open enemies. I feel like, the cups represent water sign energy. The water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces. You're having this lunar eclipse in the 7th house. For you, Aquarius, it's a lunar eclipse in Leo, and for your chart, your sun chart, the 7th house is where Leo resides. But on a regular, just astrological chart, Libra traditionally rules the 7th house. Here's the 7 right here where that lunar eclipse is occurring, and it's going to feel like, I look at this card as a don't count your chickens before your eggs hatch card. I look at this as a card of too many options, too many different possibilities, not knowing what you really want, being uncertain of what you want, having certain possibilities removed because you've drug your feet on them as well as another way to see this. It could be that you've got more than one person on a string, or more than one line out there, if you will, there's more than one, or there's lots of fish in the sea or whatever. You've got more than one bait hook out there, if you get what I'm saying. Break it down country girl style. You got more than one bait hook out there. And it could be that you are found out. There is silver lining in the situation. This cloud right here indicates that there is a lot of silver lining in the situation, but you have to work for it. And it doesn't even look like the tools are there, so it's going to be a serious uphill climb to find that. It may be that you are going through a situation that you won't find those nuggets of wisdom until years later. Because it's like you're completely in the dark. Or someone is completely in the dark. If it's not you, it's your partner. Someone close to you in that situation, in that 7th house where the lunar eclipse is occurring. It could be that you are being exposed to people who you thought were friends, but you find out they're frenemies. They're open enemies, is another way to possibly consider or deduce on that card as well. The final card that was pulled for you is the Knight of Cups. And I see this as a, this is a water sign, Cancer, Scorpio, or Pisces. There could be air sign energy up in here because of the wings that are on the helmet and the feet. I see this Knight of Cups as a possible messenger of love, or a messenger of emotional validation, or emotional, it's an emotional message. All of these cards, as the channel grows, I've started just reading the cards upright. And this could be, a situation where I probably wish I wouldn't do that, but just so I could give you more information. But I like to be as general as possible in these readings to cover as many bases as possible. This Knight of Cups could be someone who is coming in, professing their feelings. It could be you professing your feelings to someone else. But it could also be someone professing their feelings to your significant other. It really depends. If it's not that, then it is a message dealing with things that are close to you and things that you're very concerned about, things that make you feel emotionally validated and sustained. fulfilled. It's that stuff that makes your cup runneth over. And with these two cards falling side by side like this, it's almost like this Knight of Cups is walking or riding out. This Knight of Cups is riding into the sunset with one of these options, and it's like, this is you, and the option that you really wanted is being taken away because you didn't move fast enough, Aquarius. That's one way to read it. And it's like it's bringing justice to the situation that was at hand because you were taking your time dilly-dallying, possibly trying to figure out what you wanted out of a relationship. And this is some Aquarians, it's not all of you, this is a general reading. But it's like the justice in the situation is coming to a head because you had too many options on your table or on the plate, or however you want to look at it, whatever analogy works. You had too many options in front of you, and because you couldn't make your mind up, you've had at least one taken away from you, if not more. And that's just one way of seeing it. Another way is somebody is coming to you or professing to you these arrows of Cupid, if you will. And we are fixing to be dealing with Valentine's Day coming up very soon, so there will be a lot of arrows of love flying around. A couple of different ways to see those cards and how they're playing out, and the houses that they're playing out in as well. Now, I did the math. We've got the 11, which is justice, and we've got the 7 and the 8, so that is 26. 2 plus 6 is 8, and that's that Scorpio ruled house of life, death, and rebirth. It's the house of sexuality. It's the house of regeneration, transformation, metamorphosis. It's the house of other people's money. It's the house of the instincts. That's primal, basic, or human. Lots of messaging. Lots and lots of messaging. I really see like this is, more often than not, a lot of really flirty messages going back and forth. Even if it's between like you and your boo or whatever. It doesn't matter. You know. And if you're single, then it could be like you're throwing out a bunch of lines or something to that effect. So, yeah, that Scorpio ruled house, and Scorpio rules sexuality as well, so you don't have any direct 8th house energy, but it seems like there will be some serious relationship shifts, if you will, for some Aquarians out there. Now, from the Sage Goddess Gemstone Oracle deck, I pulled for you, or what popped for you, this one just kind of flew out of the deck, the Malachite card, dealing with divine feminine healing and protection. This helps heal and amplify the vibration of the heart chakra. Malachite is the divine feminine stone of protection and healing, which has been used for thousands of years to stimulate life force energy and to absorb pollutants from the atmosphere, aura, and body. You have pulled this card because you are in need of a health power boost. Meditate with Malachite for feminine healing, protection while traveling, and overall well-being. Protection while traveling. Okay, you've got protection while traveling. Be careful with people not staying in their lane. The Sacred Rebels Oracle card that I pulled for you is what you want wants you. This is the 16th card of the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck by Elena Fairchild. And 1 plus 6 is 7, and you are having that lunar eclipse in the 7th house. I see this as a spiral of manifestation, bringing you closer to what you want, or what you want closer to you, however you choose to see it. This card indicates that whether or not you see it coming, what you desire deeply is making its way to you, or finding its way to you, or you're finding your way to it. So you should find a way or try to be willing, open, and capable of receiving this. It's an invitation. Sorry, Zoe just jumped on the bed. It's an invitation to trust in what you want. If you don't know what you want, then I advise that you ask what you desire or what truly moves you, and to journal this. I mean, like, ask yourself this question once a month and journal it, and then come back to those journal entries, reassess and reevaluate what you put, because with each answer you're going to be articulating more and more what it is that you do want, with the different perspectives that you gain throughout the days, weeks, and months. Pay attention to your answers, because your desires are going to change, and you're going to see those changes, like I said, through the way that you articulate what it is that you do want. You're going to... There's a part of me that wants to run down a really long analogy of how people can say they're hungry. They say they want a sandwich, but they don't really give you a list of what they want on that sandwich. There's many different kinds of sandwiches. It's like asking you what kind of sandwich you want, and then you taking the time to assess what it truly is that you want. And yes, I get it, food. You're not going to sit for 6 months and decide what you want, but it's the idea that I'm trying to articulate to you. You could say, I want love. Okay, well, what kind of love? Well, self-love, romantic love, parental love, sexual love, spiritual love, friendship love, child love, not the sick, twisted kind. The kind of love that you have when you have a bond with a child. The kind of love that gets you on a playground and swinging with that kid. The kind of love that gets you on the floor playing with Legos, even though you're going to ache for 3 days after the fact. It's that kind of child love. So don't get it twisted, y'all. But you'll notice the changes when you reflect and you reevaluate on your journal entries, and respect those changes, acknowledge those changes, and give yourself time for thoughtful consideration to your deepest wishes, so you can articulate what it is that you truly want. Sometimes it's a very, very, very subconscious need that drives us, and we don't understand it until we stop and actually observe what we're doing. Sometimes we're so driven by subconscious needs and subconscious drives and desires that we don't understand what it is that's truly motivating us. Aquarius, that's all I've got for you. I hope that you're well. Please take care of yourselves. Please be kind to yourselves and save some kindness for others, because we're all going through some very private battles some of us may never speak about in our own worlds to another living soul. I hope you're well. Breathe during this eclipse season. Embrace a growth mindset, because change is coming whether you like it or not. I'll be around mid-month for your mid-month readings, and I'm going to try to do an extra video series concerning the spring eclipses and the Venus retrograde that we'll be experiencing coming up very soon. So fingers crossed I'm able to do that. Send me some positive energy, because I just started back on my classes for school, so time is going to be a major concern, and big time management issues are going to be big for me. I already know that, but it's okay. I've got my student planner already filled out. It's fine. So, I'll see you soon. Please take care, and until then, namaste, and bye, Aquarius.